Hey, welcome. Today we're going to be discussing restarting your computer, why rebooting is important, why people don't do it more often, when you should do it, how often you should do it, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to provide a Python script that will display the time it's been since your last restart, and then give you the option to go ahead and restart there. Why don't people reboot more often? Rebooting fixes a lot of issues that most people have with their computers, as I mentioned earlier, but most people just don't do it, or they think they're doing it and they're not doing it. A lot of times I find that people put their computers to sleep, or they just close their laptop lid. When they get back on their computer, they have to unlock the computer and they think that's logging back in. I think that's a full reboot. I've had clients tell me they restart their computer every night, and then when I check, it's been 60 plus days since the last time they've actually restarted. Now, the next question is, how often should you do it? Well, that depends on what you do with your computer. If you're doing a lot of video editing, Adobe work, anything with a lot of different documents and files, or you've got a lot of temp files kind of going on, I recommend a couple times a week. A good rule of thumb is Monday morning before you start working, give your computer a reboot. And then depending on what you do on weekends, a lot of people use their computers for gaming, per se, on the weekends. Gaming, I like to reboot my computer Friday night. So Monday morning and Friday night is a good rule of thumb on how often you should reboot for most users. Now, I work in the IT field, and what I see more than anything else is computer performance tickets. My computer's too slow, or this app's crashing, my mouse isn't working, my audio sounds weird. A lot of different things fall under this category. Now, most of the time, a restart does fix a lot of that crap. But most people just don't know how to do it, or either they know how and don't think they need to. It's either I've got too many documents open, it's going to take me forever to figure out where I was at, I've got to finish this project first, and then things just keep happening, the computer never gets restarted. So if you've had your computer going for a week and you've been running 20 different apps and you've closed things out, there's probably processes and services from those apps that are still running, still eating up resources. So when you restart your computer, it gives it a fresh start. It frees up the memory, forces any stuck programs closed. It applies updates and bug fixes, security patches, and it also forces your drivers to reset. When your drivers reset, it fixes a lot of hardware issues with your monitor, your docking station, your mouse. There's a lot of different things that can be solved by restarting your computer. So today's script is going to be a script that shows you how long it's been since the last time you've restarted your computer. It'll then prompt you if you want to restart an hour later. It's a simple Python script that we'll pull up and take a look at now. Now, if you prefer, you can download all of my scripts directly from my Google Chrome web store extension. It's called Jim Martelli's Automation Arsenal. It's available right in the Chrome web store and works with, should work with any Chromium-based browser. I've tested it in Edge and Chrome with no issues. Basically, once you get this, you'll have your icon here. Choose which script you want. Just hit download, and it'll download the file. The other option for downloading is directly from my website, digitallydestroy.com/scripted. And you'll see all of the zipped up scripts that I have available inside of this folder. All right, so once you get the folder extracted, you're going to have quick setupwizard.bat file, and you're going to have rebootinfo.py file. I'm going to go ahead and open those up in Notepad++. I've got my Python file here loaded first. We've got our imports, and then we'll grab the system uptime in seconds. We'll convert that to days and hours, and then we'll create a string your system's been up for, and then it'll display whatever the uptime is in days and hours. And then after that, it'll ask you if you want to reboot an hour later. If you type now, it's going to go ahead and execute this, and that's going to restart the computer. If you type later, it's just going to display this message on your screen. You can reboot later. Now, if you type anything else, it's going to let you know that you have to type now or later before the script can finish. And then it'll just let you know at the end that the script has been successfully executed. And then I've got an exception here to throw errors as well. That way it doesn't just crash out. And then we'll go over to the quick setupwizard.bat file. This just displays some information. The echo here is just where it's printing the text out to the screen. Echo installing required dependencies. The reason I have this is because the script requires this psutil to be installed. That's not something that's in Python by default like the time in the OS is. So We do have to import that into our script before it works, and this bat file will just install that for us before it runs the script here. Python reboot info.py successfully executed. All right, so if we go ahead and run the quick setup wizard.bat file, you're going to get this. It's going to say, welcome to the scripted scrolls reboot info script. It's going to give some information about my social media. And then it's going to tell you that it's installing required dependencies. That's that psutil file. As you can see, it's already satisfied on my machine because I already have that installed. Once it gets through that, it's going to remind me that I need to upgrade my Python installer. Dependencies installed successfully, running the script. It's going to tell me that my system's been up for 22 hours. Would I like to reboot an hour later? I'm going to go ahead and type later. You can reboot later. Script executed successfully. If I type now, then it's going to go ahead and restart my computer. So that's a pretty simple script, pretty easy to do. And you don't even have to do anything really. You can download the script and it works as is right out of the zip file. But the fun part is modifying it and just kind of learning a little bit of Python as you go. And I feel like that's the best way to learn Python. If you sit down and try to study it or read crap on it, you're going to have a rough time. Download some scripts, start making small modifications. So maybe in this one, change what the output message says. Maybe even take it a step further and set it up as a scheduled task. So every 2 or 3 days, it'll run and remind you like, hey, your computer's been up for 5 days now, 7 days now, 9 days now. And you can even make the warnings a little more strict each time the number gets higher. That's entirely up for you. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy the script. And I'd like to see in the comments what kind of cool things you do with it.